and I own like 40 pairs of sneakers,
Okay.
right? And last one, okay, I was a DJ in college, and my DJ name was DJ Eatem Up.
DJ Eatem Up. Yes, sir. I love it.
Pimpin', man.
This the coldest podcast you'll ever hear. The way we coming with it, people witnessing greatness. Be a part of the journey. I would say it's perfect timing, but it's God's timing. We locked in a time capsule with this one. We got timeless topics. Guess what? I'm your mother's favorite host. Your little brother's OG. I go by the name of Armand Lindsay, but the neighborhood call me Big P. I want to welcome y'all to Big BOSSTALK Season 2, The Rebirth. Let's ride, and welcome to a Black Man's Pain.
What's going on? What's going on, man? We back again. Another episode of Big Boss Talk, the podcast. Man, it feels like I never stop working, man. So we got another episode. We love episodes like this. I got a great guest, a good friend of mine, Elijah. Man, it's crazy how we even know each other, or got to get to know each other. I've got to be thankful for Maya, her, and just her sorority, Delta. Just meet a lot of different cool people, and just one of the people that she clicked with was Kelsey, and then Kelsey had Elijah, and it was just like once we came together, it was just like boom. It was a dynamic duo. So it's just like, man, I appreciate the love the relationship that we got, especially when we both trying to be on the same thing. We both, just sometimes we come from, the same different situations, but we trying to do better and just stay getting better and just putting ourselves in good position. So, I mean, I can't have a better guest besides Elijah Christian. Elijah Christian, man, let me give you a little backstory behind him. He's 27. His career is public health research associate. All right. His college degree was Master of Public Health in Health Services, so MPH for short. And then I think he said policy and management. Years in profession is about 4 years. So he's been in the game for a long time. He's had some time to get his feet wet. Elijah, say what's up to the podcast, bro.
Going on, Pi, man. Appreciate you for having me, man. It's crazy, like you said, we've been rocking for so long. And it's funny when you say that. It's like, man, thinking back, I can't even remember the first time that we met. Like, it just seemed like we always been rocking. We always been boys. So it's like, man, I'm glad to be here.
Man, appreciate it, man. It's so hard. Like, I can't, like you said, I can't remember the first time we met either, or just, and it's crazy because it's been years that we've been, kind of close, and it's just like the time adding up, and it's just like, that's super dope to think about. But you know what we're going to get into? We about to get into these 2 truths and a lie. All right? So I need you to, I hope you can win, but I'm coming for the title today. So you go ahead and give me your 2 truths and a lie.
I should have known that what your record was, because I might would have came up with something a little saucy. But all right, so one, we're gonna start with, I started an online business last year.
Okay.
So I'm a Black-owned business owner.
Word.
2, I'm a sneakerhead, and I own like 40 pairs of sneakers.
Okay.
Right. And last one, okay, I was a DJ in college, and my DJ name was DJ Eatem Up.
DJ Eatem Up, yes, sir. I love it, bro. Okay, this is easy. I'm about to chop this up real quick. So the last one, that's a truth, bro. And the only reason why I say that's a truth because the name came out so official. DJ Eatem Up, like, come on, bro. You can't even. That's too hard. So DJ Eatem Up, that's the truth. That's the truth. Sneakerhead, we chop it up about sneakers all the time. And we always hit each other like, these hard, that's hard, or like, I'm trying to go for these. The only thing I'm skeptical about is you said you got over 40. You said over 40 pair of shoes.
Yep.
Okay, got you. The first one, you got an online business, so it's just. It's too easy for me, man. I'm sorry I had to do it to you, but the lie is he a sneakerhead with 40-something pair of shoes. He's a sneakerhead. I just don't think he got over 40 some pair of shoes.
Yeah, that's true. All right, I mean, yeah, that's the lie.
That's the lie. Yeah.
I might got like 20. If I never sold a pair of shoes, then I probably would have 40. But
Right.
I get shoes all the time, and I rock them a couple times. Like I don't really want these no more.
Yeah.
So I get rid of them. If I never sold a pair of shoes, easily could have 40, 50 plus.
Yeah, I just figured that was a lot, just because we talk and you be like, you know, you go for certain shoes, so it's not like you go for every shoe that come out. It's like it's a certain style or a certain look that you always go for, and it's just like I know you're a sneakerhead and I know you like sneakers. I'm just the 40 was just throwing me out because I'm like, I mean, I'm a sneakerhead and I don't think I got over 40 pair of shoes, which is crazy. When you think about 40 pairs, that's a lot of shoes.
It's a lot.
Yeah,
sure.
I got like maybe, I think 20. I mean, I've got more than 26. As far as like Jordans, I think I probably got like 26 or 25, something like that. But then I got some random shoes just sitting around.
Yeah.
So it'll put me up there probably around like the 30 range. But that's still a lot of shoes. And then I got a homie. He got like, I want to say almost 300 something pair. And I know what that looked like. That's
crazy.
Yeah, that's wild.
That's a whole extra closet right there.
Whole extra room. Ain't no closet. That room you sitting in right now is full of shoes. I'm like, boy. But nah, man, appreciate you for hopping on the podcast, bro. That was a good game of Two Truths and a Lie. Almost got me. You know, it's all good, man. I don't think I
shouldn't have said the DJ name. Then you might would have fell for that one.
Yeah, I might would have fell for that one. I might would have. But we're gonna get into it, bro, because I know we talk about you know, the whole reason behind the podcast is just to bring minorities, people that look like us, black, brown people, and just be able to give people a different perspective on what they could possibly do with their life. Showing representation, right? They always talk about representation is key. What's better represented than showing people that no matter the circumstances or no matter the product of your environment, you can choose. You know, you always got a choice, and you can choose whether to, you know, go down the right path or not, or, you know what I'm saying? Or if you make a couple of mistakes, you can always bounce back from those mistakes. And so you know, for me, hitting you up, I felt like you was a perfect candidate just to say, man, if this dude right here can, you know, continue to do it, continue to grind, and, you know, to stay on the right path, why not anybody else? And the crazy thing about it is, like, you super humble, man, like, humble.
Appreciate it.
Family guy, like, look out the siblings. Like, when we came to the wedding, I was like, man, he got so much love for just, you know, within his family, and that people look up to him in his family. And I'm just like, bro, that's what it's about. You know what I'm saying? Like, to have somebody like that monumental in the family where you can show like a little cousin, be like, you know, hang around your cousin Elijah. You know what I'm saying? He'll drop some gems off of you, and it's not like that you're gonna be preaching to him. It's just like, just hang with me for a day. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know, and sometimes I get on my soapbox, man. I can't be, because they run in the family too. My granddad a preacher, man. My uncle a preacher, so
yeah,
it could become that. But I try not to get on that soapbox too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So let me ask you, what is it that you know? What does master? I guess as far as your career, public health research associate, what is that about? Like, how did you get into that? Give me the whole rundown of how that even came about.
Yeah. So first, I'll explain a little bit more what my job actually is, because research associate, you might think of one thing, but it's really not that. So when you think research associate, you probably think somebody that's like for real doing research, like looking at studies, you know, researching articles. It's not that.
Right.
A better job title for me would probably be program evaluator.
Okay.
So what that means is, so I work for USC. I'm in the School of Public Health. So my office, we work with different agencies and organizations that get grant funding. So they get money to do different projects, right? Usually those projects are health related. So they work into like improve healthcare access to different groups, people that they're trying to improve access to healthcare for people that look like you and me, right? They're trying to get them better access to care, get them more active, better eating habits, different things like that.
Okay.
So they get their money to get their project up and running. And part of that project always has to include some type of evaluation, right? Meaning they tracking like the type of people they're reaching, how many people they're reaching, how successful they are, what's going well, what's not, making sure they're spending the money in the right way, things like that.
Gotcha.
So they hire us in my office to help them with that evaluation. because they the experts on doing the program. They don't know how to do the evaluation.
Got it.
Okay. Yeah, so we help them manage all their data. We analyze it. We write reports, all that stuff. So for sure, I would say a better job title for me would probably be program evaluator. But working at the university, they kind of throw around that research associate term.
Yeah.
You know,
a
lot.
Yeah.
But so then you want me to talk about how I got into that?
Yeah. So you obviously that's a good explanation of just what you actually do. But is that something, you know what I'm saying? Like, is that, how did you get into it? Because I always ask, like, was that something that you always wanted to do, or is it something that you kind of stumbled across and was like, I think this is pretty cool?
It definitely was like something I stumbled across. So starting in college, my undergraduate degree was in exercise science.
Okay.
So I thought I wanted to be a physical therapist at one point in time. And going through college, I was realizing that I don't really think that's for me no more. And exercise science is also in the School of Public Health. So I was taking the exercise science classes and the public health classes. And I was really enjoying the public health side of it. But I was too deep into the major to like switch fully over to public health.
Right.
So I finished out my undergraduate degree in exercise science. Okay. But if you're not trying to go to PT school with that degree, you can't really do much with it. Okay. So I was like, well, I need to go ahead and get my master's. And since I'm into the public health field at this point, I want to stick with that. So my thought process was public health is kind of like you're still have the ability to affect people and help people, just not as a doctor, right? Gotcha. So you might be working in a hospital, or you might be working with different community groups that's doing things to help people in the community live better, eat better, take care of themselves better, whether that's physically or mentally, that kind of thing, right? So I was like, I think that's important, especially being a brown person, a black person. Sure. It's like, well, sometimes the people that look like me don't have the same access that I do. So if I can be on the side of the team that's trying to help them get right, then why not do that? Right. So I started my graduate program at USC as well. So my master's program is in public health, and it's a specialty in health services, policy, and management. Got it. So in my mind, it was like, okay, if I do this, this will give me some exposure to how they make laws about healthcare and health, how to manage that kind of program, whether it's at the hospital or in a community group. And I figured, it's got health services in it, so that got to be good. That's got to be good. Yeah, so I'm getting everything. Yeah, get everything. Right? So it all sounded like a good idea, and I say that to say, coming out of my program, I was fortunate enough to get a job right away. Okay. And I know that's not always everybody's case and not everybody's situation. And I was lucky enough because the director of my program works in the same office that I do now. Okay. So she recommended me for the job. Gotcha. And kind of like I was saying at the beginning, when I heard research associate, I was like, I don't really know if that's what I'm trying to do. So long story short, no, this is not what I thought I was going to be doing at all. Gotcha. But I went in for the interview with my boss, and it was kind of like what we're doing now. We was just talking. Mm-hmm. We talked about what I was interested in, why I was into public health, and what I kind of wanted to get out of it. And it really seemed like a good fit. I mean, she asked me a couple questions, but it wasn't no serious interview. Right. And then they kind of offered me the job a couple of days later, and it just seemed like, well, if I got this a couple of days after graduating, like, I might as well.
Right. Get this bread, right?
It's bread, and I need that. Need that.
Nah, that's dope, man. I mean, it's funny to me because everybody that I talk to is like, I went to school for this, but then I changed, I got into it and I was like, nah, this ain't for me. I guess the only thing is, right, and what I want to, I know there's a solution, or there's something that we can put in place as just, people or parents, growing up having kids. How can we stop? Because once you get into college, right, you already, either lucky enough to, if you get a scholarship, you got a scholarship, but if you don't have a scholarship, you got to pay for school. So you could, you ended up, you already in debt for your first semester or first year, because you trying to, like, you thought this is the way you wanted to go. And then you figure out, like, this ain't what I want to do. And then trying to change the course. it could prolong your time in school, which is adding more,
True.
adding more debt. So I want to kind of get
Yeah.
your idea of like, what do you think? What do you think is something good that can prevent those type of, like, man, I thought this is what I wanted to do, but I didn't. But now I'm already
Yeah.
45,000, in the hole. How good? You know what I'm saying? Like, what can you do?
It's tough, like you're saying, because once you get in there and you start taking classes, you already behind because you already owe somebody money.
Yeah.
But I mean, what I can say is it's hard. It's hard as an 18-year-old person going to college and saying, "All right, I know for a fact that this is what I want to do for the rest of my life."
Right.
Because, like you said, again, I'm 27, and what I'm doing now, I don't even know if this is what I want to be doing for the rest of my life, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's. I feel like you shouldn't have to feel pressured into making that kind of decision from the jump, right? And I mean, it might not be right for everybody to go into college undecided as a major,
Mhm.
but I mean, what I would suggest based on my experience is if it's something that you're interested in or something that you got a passion for, if you pick your major as biology, but you like to take pictures, I mean, take a couple photography classes on the
Right.
side and see how you feel about it. You take
Right.
them classes and it really feels like, okay, maybe I can do this, then maybe that's something you need to pursue.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Hmm. I feel
I
like.
feel like you just
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, I feel like, it's cliche, right? Because they always say if you find something that you love to do, it ain't gonna be work, you know?
Yeah.
But like if it's something you're interested in and passionate about, you owe it to yourself to give it a chance. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And that's the time to do it. If you're already paying for school, man, I'm not saying you gotta take 10 photography classes, but take one. You know what I
Take
mean?
something.
See what come of it, because you might be into it.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like if I could restructure like how the school process work as far as like college, I feel like for me, I feel like there needs to be some type of bridge program as far as like from high school and then to like full on college. Like there should be like a free bridge
Mm.
program where you could choose X amount of electives, right? You get an opportunity to, let's
Yeah.
say you choose 4 different electives in different fields of choice, right? Because you thought maybe I really want to do this, but I'm gonna have 3 backups. And you get to take classes and
Okay.
really dibble and dabble in the profession. So you can be like, this is not what I thought it was gonna be, right?
Yeah.
Or I really didn't know that this was that fun and I think I want to go this direction. And then once you be like, okay, I want to go this direction, then it's like, okay, now I know what I want to go to school for. And then
Yeah.
and then I just feel like the electives and all that, they should cut out electives. It should just really be about the major, right? Let people do 2 years of school and
Mhm.
be out of there. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel like I would do it. But obviously, I don't have that kind of control. But I just feel like that's something that could have benefited me, sound like could have benefited
Yeah.
you, or multiple people that I've talked to already, just like giving them a chance to see what the profession is like full on versus I got this degree, I'm already in
Yeah.
debt. Now I just automatically need to just go to work because I need to pay off this student loan debt because they're gonna hit me over the head.
Yeah, and you made a real good point because I think some kind of bridge program like that would be beneficial. Because the other thing I was gonna say was, and you kind of touched on it, was like if it's something you're interested in, you gotta find you owe it to yourself to like one, give it a chance, but two, you gotta find somebody that's doing that thing.
Yeah.
Find yourself a mentor, find yourself a coach, or somebody that can be like, all right, this is really what the job is, and this is really what I do. And then you shadow them or whatever the case is, and figure out if all right, this seemed kind of cool, or nah, this ain't what I thought.
Got you. So with public health, I know we talked about there's different so many different avenues within public health. How did you narrow down what side of the public health you wanted to be on, right? Because I'm not sure. I don't know if you still want to do like the evaluation side. I know we had talked
Mhm.
about you wanting to do something, maybe something to look tailored towards this. But can you explain what you're looking to do now in the public health space and be
Yeah,
more focused?
yeah. So now, actually, what I'm more interested in is evaluation is cool, and I appreciate my job because I had the opportunity to learn about a lot of different things, right?
Mhm.
But in evaluation, we do a lot of different things, right? So, of course, we collect data, we analyze data, A lot of times we do like focus groups or interviews. So I'm talking to groups of people just like this. Um, and we, write reports and all that stuff. But the thing that I've kind of come to enjoy is the analytical piece of it. So I kind of want to shift more into analytics, right?
Okay.
Maybe still in the healthcare setting. So maybe I'm working for a hospital, running through their information. And so that's got a couple of different titles. Sometimes they call it data analytics. Sometimes they call it business intelligence. But basically, you working with the data that people collect to help them make decisions about what they're going to do in the future, what they need to change. Like, sometimes you might work in like an HR department and you helping to like retain employees or like keep people happy at their jobs. So basically, using information to like make the job the best it could be, pretty much.
Got you. Okay. So it's you collecting data, and then I guess let me make sure I'm making sense. Collecting data, right, with the analytics, and just trying to put I don't know if you putting programs or processes in place based off the data to help the business gain better results. Is that kind of where it's going?
Essentially. So it's like it's almost kind of like the same, right? So I'm kind of a step removed from like the actual activities, right?
Okay.
So the people we work with, they do the activities, they develop the programs or whatever, and on the backside, they feed us all the information that they collect.
Okay.
And then somebody got to go through all that information to say, all right, this was going good. This is the kind of feedback we got. This what y'all need to scrap. This what y'all need to try. So it's like we giving you back all this stuff. Exactly.
Okay, got it.
So we give you back all the information to say, all right, this is where y'all at, and this is where you're trying to be.
Got it. So
Yeah.
you providing the algorithm. When you think about it, right? Let's just take. I say if you take social media is a big thing where believe it or not, Facebook, Twitter, they're counting the clicks, counting to see what's getting the most, replays, all that, and then they collect that data and they're able to sell that information to different companies as far as like trying to put ads out, what's going to get more attention. But it seems like you're the person that's really breaking it up, right? You're kind of breaking the analytics, what's working, what's not. Like you just said, what needs to scrap. So that's pretty cool. Like you the science behind everything, and so that's dope. I will ask: is there a lot of is this a Caucasian driven field? Is there a lot of is there a lot of black people in this field, or you know what I'm saying? Like, how is it?
I think, from what I've come to learn, like analytics and data analysts, they're pretty diverse, right?
Okay.
It's not. I wouldn't say it's like a white driven job profession. I actually think a lot of minorities, or even like women, are kind of getting into that profession. It's almost it's somewhat considered like an intro into the tech realm.
Got it.
You know what I'm saying? Because you're working with data and information, but a lot of times the software and stuff you're working with, you kind of veering off onto the path of like tech in the tech space. So it's kind of a good way. And like you said, everybody uses data and everybody uses information. So I mean, most immediately, I'm interested in doing that kind of analytical work in the healthcare space because that's what I'm familiar with. But I mean, you can get into analytics, and like you said, you could be working for Facebook, you could be working for Instagram, running through the social media data and helping them figure out their algorithms. You could be working for Nike, helping them figure out, all right, this was selling and what's not selling. Right. So you can really get into running the numbers and doing analytical thinking for whatever kind of company. So I definitely think, I don't know, from what I've learned, it's like one of the most quickly growing like professions. You know what I mean? Because like you said, everybody need
data.
Everybody using data, so it's always a need for that. So I don't think it's a tough space to crack into.
Gotcha. So it's very much diverse, which is good. Like I want people to understand, like, hey, it's diverse. You know what I'm saying? You got an opportunity and a chance, and I think that's a good way to put it. It's kind of like an intro into the tech world. I will ask, let's just say, as far as preparation, right? Because I know that one of the
Yeah.
scariest things for me coming out of college was I want to get a job, but how do I prepare myself for an interview? How do I make myself presentable, or what do I need, to hit on to, really sell myself to make sure that I'm a good candidate. So I'm not going to talk about, that first interview because, like you said, it was more of a conversation piece, right? But let's just say if you were going for a different, a different role, what things would you bring up in the interview process that you've done, in the current position that you're at now? How would that be able to apply to maybe a next level or trying to go up? You know what I'm saying? Like, can you explain what you were
I
bringing?
think you always got to talk about the things that you've done, right? Talk about the skills that you developed. So like I was saying, we do a lot of surveys and focus groups, and we do what in the evaluation world, we collect data, two types of it's called quantitative and qualitative.
Gotcha.
So one is numbers and one is words, basically. Right. So you talk about, the processes and how you come up with those data collection methods. Like basically you just need to market yourself by saying, this is what I've done in my role.
Gotcha.
And this is why I'm good at doing these things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cause I don't want to try to explain what I've been doing, like, cause that could be boring, but
it's okay. No, I'm not saying, I wasn't saying, like it's boring, but I get what you're saying. You don't want to, I guess, overload of information, right? Try to keep it short and simple.
Try to keep it short.
Yeah, keep it short. But
talk about, but like also, like I said, you got to market yourself. So talk about the things that you've done, and I think it's important to talk about the numbers, right? So if you work with 20 different groups, let them know that you don't work with 20 different groups. Or if you done build 20 surveys, let them know you done built 20 surveys. So they know that you really do this. Like this is your specialty or your expertise. You gotta kind of communicate that you comfortable with working with these different programs or these different softwares. So they know, okay, we ain't got to train this person on that. They already know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like Drake, not Drake. I say J. Cole. He got that one song. He was just like, to know the difference between you, them real, and them fraudulent. You know what I'm saying? You gotta come and do it how you know how to do it. So it's all about, coming from you. What I hear is just all about really putting yourself out there, making sure that you let them know like what you were involved in. What things you were able to do, because I know sometimes people are scared. Like some people are scared to take tests. Some people are scared to interview. So it's like, if we can give them a, kind of a heads up of just like, all right, you need to go in there and really kind of just sell yourself, let them know what you've been doing. I think that'll make people feel a little bit more comfortable as far as, really tapping into these interviews and really just going in with the confidence that they need to sell themselves. So I do want to ask, for one, are there resources in college, or are there resources out there that you know of that can help people really define what route they want to go, right? Whether it's research, whether it's data analysis with public health, is there any type of any resources that you may have came across where they can be like, let's cipher out what I don't want to do and what I do want to do?
Well, I say in my graduate program, they didn't do as good of a job as I would have hoped, and like really bringing people in to show you like what's out there. I'm not gonna say they didn't bring nobody in, because we would have different meetings, kind of like this back when we was meeting, face to face and all that.
Right.
But they would bring people in from this company, that company, and they would kind of explain what they do. But like I was just saying, or like I was saying earlier, right? My title is research associate. But what I described to you, I don't really feel like falls under that umbrella. So if me telling you that, then you go and you searching, all right, research associate jobs, you're going to find stuff that's not really aligning.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they wasn't really bringing in people with the different kind of titles and stuff for me to be able to say, all right, that sounds interesting and this is what I want to look for.
Okay.
But I say all that to say, I think what's most important in trying to lock down which route you want to take is kind of what we was talking about earlier, is like finding a mentor, finding a coach or somebody that's doing what you think you want to do.
Okay.
Especially in public health. like we was talking, whenever that was, it's like public health is so broad, right?
Yeah.
And you can go very many ways with it. You
Mhm.
can go to the hospital, you can go to the community. Well, if you feel like, okay, I think I could see myself working in a hospital, well, you should try to find you a mentor, be that on Facebook or on LinkedIn,
Mhm.
or I mean, even if that's you going to the hospital,
Yeah, it's popping
and
up.
like just popping up, like, hey, I'm trying to be XYZ. Like, is there somebody here that I could speak to? Somebody here that can kind of guide me along this process, give me
Right.
some thoughts or recommendations. But I think, it's like they say, if you want something good, you gotta go and find it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because the information can be all over the
Misleading.
place.
Yeah, all over the place. I mean, I guess I feel like when you talk about the mentorship and just pulling up and popping up on somebody and be like, listen, I think I want to do this. Is there anybody available I can talk to? I feel like there's nobody that really does that. Which when you
You're right.
when you say it, but when you say it, it's like that sounds like a great idea. Like for a kid to just go somewhere and be like, I think this is what I want to do. Let me go see if they. Hey, can I talk to somebody just for a quick second and just be like, hey, I'm looking for a mentor and just can you help me out? Like, and I'm pretty sure there's programs or something out there where you can log in online and maybe find something like that. But I will tell you, or I'm pretty sure you already know, but just finding the right mentor for you, right? Because you can find a mentor and they may tell you this, that, and the third, but if they don't come, maybe they don't have the same circumstances as you, or they don't have the same background as you. It's just like it can be kind of hard to relate, connect. And so I will just tell anybody listening, like, make sure it's the right mentor for you, and that they're going to be there for you. Whenever you call, as far as like, hey, I got a quick question, can you help me?
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. And okay, and to that point, right? Popping up at the hospital, that ain't most realistic. But I think, I
I
think
feel like somebody's gonna do it and be like,
somebody gonna
listen,
try it,
can
and it might
I need
work
a
out.
mentor?
If it
Yeah.
work out, I'm gonna be glad. But if it don't, I understand. I think probably what's more realistic is, and what I've even like at 27 years old, I'm still learning how to do this or use this method more effectively. But using LinkedIn,
Okay.
like it, like I said, right, I'm interested in analytics. So you can go on LinkedIn in the search bar, you hit hashtag analytics, and it's going to be a whole bunch of people that's talking about that field.
Gotcha.
Or talking about, hey, I do this in analytics or I do that. And it's like, okay, well, maybe you want to follow that person
Yeah.
and see what they got going on. And I think that's a little bit easier, especially like, everybody do everything online now any day, anyway. So it's like, okay, well, you can kind of see what's going on. And if it's something that's kind of connecting, maybe it's somebody that doing analytics that look like me. And it's like, okay, I want to learn more about this person.
Gotcha.
You shoot them a message and say, hey, I'm interested in this topic. Like, can you give me some resources?
Yeah. Hey,
That might be more realistic.
You heard it from the guy himself. Listen, you can pull up or you need to go on LinkedIn. Listen, if you
can
pull
pull
up,
up or you can shoot the message, man. You
yeah,
can do whatever you need to do.
just make sure you shoot the shot. If you
Exactly.
I would say if anybody pulls up to a location and they are able to score a mentor, please just come to the comments and just let me know. Like, look, I pulled up on X, Y, and Z, and they hopped out, and so it's all gonna be Elijah's idea, and I'm gonna be like, shout out to Elijah, you got a mentor now. So, but we appreciate that, and then I want to go into is this a field, as far as like just talking about the career, is this a field where gaining extra degrees will boost you as far as like the pay, or is it based on like certificates? Because obviously, these kids, even us, we always looking at what's the next move, what's the next pay grade, because we all, everybody want to be comfortable. Nobody wants to, have to think about, where our next dollar is coming at, or, you want to live the lifestyle you want to live. So like I was saying, is this degree or this career field, is this something where you need to elevate as far as getting those masters and maybe a doctorate to get the pay scale, or is it certification driven? What do you think?
So okay, so I answer from both sides, right? So from my current job and evaluation, I say a lot of people in my office, they have master's degrees, right? So that might get you in the door, but for you to kind of level up, I think certifications are definitely the way to go. I mean, in the evaluation space, there are different certifications like project management, which is what it's exactly what it sounds like, managing the project. So dealing with the people that are running the program. Sometimes you might have to deal with the budget, establishing timelines. Like that just kind of show that you know how to lead and manage a program and keep everything on track. Okay. So that's big, that's major. And that kind of expands beyond the evaluation space. Like you can get a lot of different jobs with a project management certification. Okay. Then there's different things like Six Sigma, which is along that same line, which is like a process improvement kind of thing. Okay. So that's a major certification, and then like being certified in different programs, okay. Like different analytic type programs, or like statistical programs. That just kind of show that you are expert in that thing. Gotcha. So I will 100% say certifications is definitely the way to go. Mm-hmm. Like the master's degree is probably gonna help get you in the door, okay. But for you to really like elevate, them certifications is gonna be it.
Got it. That's key. Major. That's major. Okay. So certifications, and I do know certifications can be a lot cheaper than going and getting that
and going to school. Yeah, for sure, schools. All the way. So, and I think I ain't mean to cut you off, but like I was saying before, I'm trying to shift into that analytics side of things, mm-hmm. Right? So I mean, myself right now, I'm taking an analytics course through Google, right. And this they estimate it's going to take like 6 months, but you're just paying for it. It's through a website called Coursera. You might have heard of it. Yeah. And you pay the monthly fee. It's $39 a month. Got it. And it might take you 6 months, but you can go as quickly as you want. You can knock it out in 2 months if you want. And you only got to pay that $39 twice, and then you got a certification.
Right. So I mean,
you know what I mean? So
working at your own pace. I know with my company, they give us the opportunity to get certifications. Sometimes we can get free certifications, and sometimes there's certification that you got to pay for. So like one of the popular ones is project management, right? It's like a lot of people, really, if you got a project management certification, you can kind of do a lot with a project management certification. So there's a lot of people that get that certification, and it's free that, my job offers. And then there's other ones, kind of specific to what you were talking about where you can pay, but it's at your own pace, right? It's not something that you got to rush through, but it's definitely something like if you want to knock it out and just be like, hey, I got this certification, on the next interview, next job search, whatever, it's on you. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that's pretty dope. Like certifications is definitely the way to go in some fields, and I think that this is one of them. Was it all about money for you, going into this field, or is it, you know what I'm saying? Like when you first started, I wanted to get into this field. Like some people say they want to be doctor or lawyer because of the money that it offers, right? They may not even like to go in there and argue or, do the research, but they just like the money attached to it. Is this career field, was it about the money? It was like, hey, I think I can make a lot of money, or was it first, I really want to help people, and then you knew like the money will follow as I keep doing what I got to do?
So starting out, right, like I was saying, I was in exercise science, mm-hmm. and I thought I wanted to do physical therapy. One, because I wanted to help people, but I knew it was money in that.
Yeah.
Right. But then as I was going through college and realizing, like, all right, I don't know if the extra debt and the extra time in school, like if I'm really going to enjoy being a physical therapist, so I switched it up. And I realized, okay, if I do public health, I can still impact people and help people. Mm-hmm. But I know it might be a little bit longer road to really get to the bag. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like I'm trying to help people. I know the money's going to come. So it's not all about the money.
Gotcha.
But I ain't gonna lie and say I want the money.
Yeah.
But it ain't really start saying, okay, I know I'm about to get rich quick doing public health, because it don't really work that way.
Okay. Gotcha. I mean, that's a heads up for everybody, because I mean, some people hop into these career fields and are like, I'm gonna get this bag, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get this money, but you got to work your way up. You know what I'm saying? You got to crawl before you can walk. You got to walk before you can run. So it's just like it's levels to everything. And I will say, I always let people know I went to school to be an engineer. Do 3 years, get my mathematics, transfer over to Clemson, do 2 years, and get a master's in engineering. it wasn't for me. Engineering, as far as like the math part of it, I like math, but when you talk about trigonometry and all that, I'm just like, I'm not. Yeah, it's different. You got to be a different beast to take something like that and understand it. And so I was like, but I knew it was money in it, right? I knew it was money in engineering. It's like, I want to get this bag,
Right.
but I had to realize like, sometimes like all money ain't good money, right? All money ain't good money, and so that for me, I was just like, I don't think that's what I really want to do, and it doesn't really fit my, I feel like, personality well. And so I'm kind of glad, obviously, taking that longer route, taking the more, build my way up route. I like that more because I was able to learn at each level, and I'm pretty sure you have situations where, you've learned from every step of the way, and then as you keep progressing and going up higher, you just take everything that you learned and just you become a better person, a better profession in your career. So enough with all the public health talk, right? Because we want to talk about the entrepreneur side, the black business side, and so I don't know, so this is crazy. When I think about music, there's only a couple of people I'll go to and be like, what you think about this? You know what I'm saying? Or like, what you think about this artist? And you are probably the only, it's like one out of two people, and you're the only person I go to as far as music taste. And I think you have a niche for creating playlists, putting people on underrated artists, as far as like, I think you might vibe with this guy. Go ahead and check him out. You know what I'm saying? Where did the love for music come from? Like, when did you just be a connoisseur of music like that?
I mean, honestly, for as long as I can remember, I always loved music, man.
Yeah.
I feel like it had to start like middle school when I got my first iPod.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was downloading. Kanye West always been, this.
Yeah.
Kanye West, that's my dog. Like, he got some foolishness going on, all the time. But like music wise, man, that's the go for me. But I think it all started, man. Like the first album I can really remember I was listening to heavy was Graduation. And I remember back in middle school, high school, before I had learned about, I don't even know if Rap Genius was a thing back then.
No.
I don't even remember.
I
I don't
don't
even
think
remember.
so.
But I remember I was listening to songs on repeat, and I would write the lyrics down to make sure I could remember them, and then I would rap them back. Like, so I think that's where it all started.
Yeah.
So I mean, just ever since then, I've always been like in love with listening to music, playing music, sharing music with people, because it just gives you a good feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, when I got to college, for that same reason, like you said, a lot of people, humble brag, a lot of people come to me for music like recommendations or like so in college I had a homeboy, his name was Josh, and he would always come to me every week, like, hey, you got that new, I need whatever new music you got, because I know you got it. Because I know you got it. So every week he come for the music, and just so happened that one day he had a friend that was having a house party.
Okay.
He was like, I know you don't DJ, but I think you'd be good at it.
Yeah.
I was like, I mean, I give it a shot. I give it a shot. So I downloaded the little DJ software on my computer, and you seen the speakers. I got these big old wooden box speakers that my dad used to have when he was in college, and he gave those to me. So I was toting the big old speakers around. I had my little DJ set up. I DJ my first college house party. Like it was crazy, and everybody loved it. All the music I was playing was hitting. I think it was that feeling of like I'm controlling the vibe at the party. It was the greatest thing. And I think ever since then I just been into like sharing the music, making playlists. Cause I don't DJ no more. It wasn't my calling. It was cool. I ain't like being the first person there and the last person to leave. I ain't like that.
So you wouldn't bring DJ Eatem Up back?
For a special occasion, I might. For a special occasion, I might. But I rock with making the playlist for now, because you get the same vibe. It ain't all mixed together like the DJ, but I can still curate the vibe how I want to. So I think music just always been a thing for me. It's like an escape.
Yeah, that's crazy when you talk about the illustration of just being able to control the energy of a room of people. Like when you're a DJ, you really do control the energy and the, you get people feeling, they could be feeling low, and then you can get them to feel higher highs, and you can keep them in the middle. You can make, the music is really how you. Most of the time when you leave a function, you be like, the music was slamming. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the number one thing. If the music is slamming, then you're gonna have it's a great time. And so that it's crazy you painted that illustration, because I'm like, bro, anytime any parties I remember, the best thing about it was the music. The music was jumping, and then the energy was right. You know what I'm saying? In the room, it wasn't no foolishness or nothing like that. It was just like it was a good vibe. And so that's cool that you brought that up. And so this goes into the black business. So tell us about the business. Give us the name. I want you to kind of talk your talk, as far as like, what it's about, how you came up with the idea, and just, everything that transpired with the business so far.
Yeah. So I started my own business last August of 2021. So I have an online store called the Library Record Shop. So I sell new and gently used vinyl records. So I'm talking old school, new school. I'm talking Marvin Gaye, Stevie Wonder, all the way up to, Lil Baby and J. Cole. Like I do it all. And I came up with the store out of my own passion for music. Okay. So quick flashback to when I was DJing. It's not how I met Kel. It's not how I met Kelsey. Okay. But that kind of what started our relationship. Yeah. I was DJing a party and she was sending me song recommendations. And then we just we never stopped talking. But over time, like music been really important in our relationship too. So I must have mentioned at some point that I wanted a record player. Yeah. Because I wanted to get into the old school music. So she bought me a record player when I graduated from undergrad. Wow. And that kind of kick-started it's like a habit of mine. Yeah. It's an obsession of mine. I got like 300 records on my own. And I just started slowly collecting over time. And it's something about having that old music in your hands. Like, yeah, it's cool when you listen to it on Apple Music and Spotify or whatever, but when you had a physical copy of it and you can hold it and like just see the artwork and the creativity from people like way back in the day, it's crazy. And after I was collecting for so much, I knew other people that was like getting into it. And they was always like, man, how you get this record? Where you get this record from? And I was like, well, I spent a lot of time like finding these records for myself. Okay. I know I could get them for other people. Right. Like I'm trying to be the record plug. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm trying to be the plug. So it just kind of came naturally. I think I was talking with Kelsey one day. I was like, I think I want to open a shop. And I actually feel like she gave me the name. I think we was brainstorming. I couldn't think of the name. Yeah. I think she said like the library could be kind of cool. And I was like, that's dope. Like library, like it ain't books, it's records, but you got your own library of music. You know what I mean? So I just kind of stuck. And over time I was like, man, what do I want to be? What do I want to focus on? Because I get my records from a lot of different places. Sometimes I buy them online, sometimes I go to actual stores. Yeah. And, a lot of the stores, like, they primarily sell like rock records and like I like a little bit of rock every now and then, but that ain't what I'm listening to on the daily. Gotcha. So sometimes I feel like the kind of music that we like, the R&B, the soul, like they don't always have a lot of that. So I wanted to open up a shop where like people can find that easily. Gotcha. Like the stuff that, your parents say they don't make music like this no more. Yeah. I got that. I'm gonna have it for you. So I'm trying to connect people with that music because it gives you a certain feeling. Gotcha.
That's hard.
Yeah.
That's hard. It's cool to say that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I feel like I feel like it's very important. Like when you're trying to create, when you got this dream or vision of doing something, and you got somebody that is like, what you think about this? And then they actively promote. You know what I'm saying? They be like, I think it'll be a dope idea. It give you the encouragement to go out there and do it. You know what I'm saying? And really not care. So when you was like, Kelsey was like, probably knowing Kelsey, was like, yeah, I think you should do it. And then, when she helped you with the name, it's just like having that help and then that motivation to, to go out and do something. is amazing. So give me the process of how did what were the things that you needed to start an online business, right? What are the things that you had to think about as far as like I know I'm gonna need this, I know I'm gonna need traditional logo, but
Yeah,
the
yeah.
analytics behind what it really takes to start a business, and then just your emotions starting a business. Let's start there first. Let's just start about what it took to get the shop up and running.
It took a lot of planning, and
Okay.
planning is difficult because it's like running a store online. It's like you're not all the way sure what you're gonna need all the way.
Right.
So I mean, obviously, I need records because
Mm-hmm.
that's what I'm selling.
Yep.
But then you got to think about, okay, I got to ship these things off, so I need packaging material. I
Right.
need tape. I need these fragile records that can break. So I need bubble wrap and like fragile stickers and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So okay, beyond your inventory, you got to make sure you have your shipping materials,
Okay.
and then you got to think about, okay, a lot of people they do really good at just selling stuff on Instagram, or they could just promote their brand on Instagram. But I decided that I wanted to have a full site. I wanted
Okay.
to have a website.
Right.
So I had to research like what domain that I wanted to have. I ended up using Wix,
Okay.
Wix.com. People, they got Wix.com, GoDaddy, Squarespace, all that
Yeah.
stuff.
All that.
And I just had to do my research to say, okay, what website is going to be the best for me? And I ended up using Wix because you can like really, and I'm pretty sure you can do this on all of them, but I just found it easiest for me to really get on there and customize it how I wanted it to.
Right.
I could have the colors that I wanted. I could set up different pages that I wanted. It was just the most user friendly for me. So I built my whole website myself.
Wow. That's
You know
hard.
what I mean? I didn't pay nobody else to do that because I'm very particular, especially when it comes to this business.
Okay.
I'm very particular about the details, and the slightest thing could be off, and I'd be upset because it's like I want it to be this certain way. I want to come across as a black business as having some quality products and something that somebody really want to spend their money on. You know what I mean? So I spent a lot of time up front building that website. Like you said, I come up with a logo. And I did that myself too. I'm not no graphic designer or nothing like that, but I use Canva.com.
And you created that on Canva?
I created that up. Anything you see on the website as far as like visuals, any like promotional things I put on Instagram that I post, I do all of that myself on Canva.
Man, that's crazy because Maya kills Canva. I'm not a Canva type of, and this is why I love hearing you talk about your business, because it shows like the it factor, right? You can tell somebody that when they start a business, like if they all in or they passionate about the business, because the small details matter, versus somebody saying, well, I just I put it together and just put it out there, right? I think when you listen to you talk about the details and just how you said, I ain't know how to create a website, but I did that on my own.
Yeah.
The logo, I created that on my own. You know what I'm saying? Like you was able to curate your ideas, and because you knew yourself, you knew like I'm very particular on how I want it. So that's pretty cool.
So the inventory, your shipping materials, you're gonna need your website if you choose to do so. I mean, you can honestly open up a store on like Facebook. You can open up a Facebook store, and you might not need a whole website. You can rock out that way. It just depends on what you want as a person. So for me, it was the website. Set up my social media pages, but also for me, it was important. And I might still get this for the business. I don't have an LLC right now.
Okay.
I have what's called sole proprietorship because I'm the sole owner.
Gotcha.
And with that, it doesn't require me to have any like legal documentation for the business.
Yeah.
But in order to keep the funds separate from my personal funds, I have a dedicated bank account for the business. So I'm not dipping in and out of my personal money.
Gotcha.
Of course, getting it started, it took a lot of my own personal funds to like buy the inventory, buy the records, buy the materials. But once I was up and running and was making a little bit of money, it's like, okay, this money is separate. So I'm not dipping into my own stuff. So the bank account was very beneficial. Logo, website, inventory, and like you like you said, you got to have that drive for it.
Yeah.
If it's something that you're really interested and passionate about enough to make a business, I'm sure you're gonna have the drive to really do what you want to do. So
for sure,
that's all the components I feel like.
That's all. I mean, that's pretty dope by itself. Like, I love me personally. I love seeing something go from ground zero, and watching somebody go crazy, 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 build up this, this niche of people that really enjoy a product, and to be able to vibe out. I mean, it's
Yeah,
crazy because I know you also do pop-up shops
yeah,
with the
yeah,
records. So that's like you out in the field with the shop, and you got the records on display. You got a lot of the community, a lot of friends that come out and support. And I think that's huge because not only with those pop-up shops, I feel like you build relationships as far as like different vendors that come out, and you sometimes are able
yeah,
to make a connection as far as like, hey, I'm thinking about throwing my own pop-up shop. I would love to have your vendor come. It gives you more opportunity for different clientele, just
yeah.
overall awareness. And so I saw that you did do pop-up shops, and I think that's pretty cool. How you do that, and it got me in my mind of thinking like, how could I, as far as a podcast, it might not be a necessary need for a pop-up shop, but maybe I can put myself in arenas of media, and be able
Yeah.
to take a flyer or two and just kind of hand some stuff out. So I always
Yeah, yeah.
see what
But
you.
you know what though? I would say you could have your own pop up. Like you could have a big boss talk pop up. Like, and maybe you getting together people that might have physical products to sell, but then you raising the awareness for the pod
Mhm.
on one hand, and then you giving people like me the opportunity to like promote themselves.
Yeah.
And you never know what could come out of that. Like you said, you building relationships at those things. So I mean, at all the different pop ups that I've been to, like I met people that I'm like getting ready to collab with on different things. Like I got people that are selling different products that's coming to me to make playlists for those things. Like I'm making custom playlists for people to include with whatever it is that they're selling. You know what I mean? Or they might ask me to make a playlist for a certain event. And that's you touched on. I didn't really speak about that, but aside from the records, everybody don't collect. Everybody don't have a record player. But I want everybody to get one and like get into
Yeah,
it.
I need
But
to.
before you get there, I'm about sharing that music all around. So on the website, you can find playlists that I make, a variety of different like genres and
Yeah.
moods. Like I got old school playlists, new playlists, all kind of stuff. So you can get into that and really just enjoy the music. No matter if you collect or you don't. So this is all about sharing
Gotcha. And the playlist don't miss. You know what I'm saying? If you watching this,
it.
I need you to go to the library record shop. Find it on IG. What's the handles on IG? Where they can go look you up.
Yeah, yeah.
Cop some records, get some playlists. What's the handles, man?
So you can hit the website, it's libraryrecordshop.com. Or you're going to find us on Google too. If you just type in Library Record Shop on Google, we're going to pop up.
Yeah.
You should be the first thing you see. Instagram is Library Record Shop. On the Twitter, I'm not as active on the Twitter. I got to get my Twitter game up, but my Twitter handle is Library Rec Shop. Well, not record, RECORD. It's just Library REC Shop.
Okay.
So those are the main ones. Mainly I be on Instagram. Instagram is where I promote all the new records that we get in. When I drop new playlists, you're gonna find that on the Instagram. And all that stuff is linked. So shop on the website, hit the Instagram up. And soon to come we're gonna have the Twitter popping too. But
Word.
mostly IG is where you're gonna find me.
Word. So we'll get that for y'all. We'll get the. I'll ask him if he can send me the links to all of them. I
Yeah.
can. I've been trying to tell people. I've been taking a social media cleanse. I let Maya run the Facebook. That's where you see a lot of promotion. That's why it's not a lot of promotion of the podcast on Instagram yet, just because I'm on the cleanse 6 months trying to, just
And
work.
what made you want to do that?
It was just the whole mindset of being all in for 2022.
Respect it.
I just want to be all in. Like I know for me, I start stuff and then I'm gonna come like when I'm ready, when I'm passionate to do something, I'll start it. I'll go hard for it, and then sometimes because I go so hard in the beginning, I kind of run
Mm.
myself down. So the mindset behind social media is like no distractions, right? The only thing I
Yeah,
can
yeah,
focus on is the podcast, making sure I'm doing interviews, making sure I'm building content, so that way when I'm back on social media, I've done so many different things for the first 6 months that I'm really, people may think, oh wow, you just started this podcast. Like, no, I did this in January. You just now starting to see it. And
yeah.
so just to give me some type of content to be able to push after the 6 months, and bro, I just really wanted to focus, man. I just think 2022 is a great time for businesses like ourselves to really be on the forefront. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
To
yeah,
really put ourselves in a good position to over time where things make sense. Because right now, when you start something, you be like, why did I do this? You know what I'm saying? Well, it don't make sense right now. It's not adding up,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because
yeah,
you don't see the what I guess what I'm trying to say the benefits yet. You don't see it. All you doing is you working, but
yeah,
you
yeah.
gotta believe in the benefits that's gonna come. You know what I'm
And
saying?
that's it's important that you say that too, because sometimes I look at the business and I'm like, man, the business ain't where I wanted to be at.
Mm-hmm.
And that might sound crazy. And I had to sit back and think sometimes. I started this in August.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't even been 5, 6 months yet. Or
Nope.
like it's only been 5, 6 months. And it's like I ain't even been around for a year yet. I got a lot to grow. I'm still figuring out, you know, like my audience, like
Yeah.
how to promote it in the best way,
Yeah.
how to get like the interactions up. Like, I mean, we can go ahead and tease it now. Me and you got a little collab coming up in the next couple months too.
Yeah. I
A
can't
playlist.
wait.
So I'm trying to figure out how to work with other people that's being creative and really like just share this music like and share what other people is being creative about.
Yeah.
So
That's hard, man. I'm telling you, bro. It's good to sit down with like-minded people that's looking
yeah,
to
yeah,
collaborate and build. Just build something for yourself. And it may not be something like obviously we want this to take off in a major way, but I think even without the monetary money, I feel like this podcast when I'm dead and gone, like my kids can look at this and they be like, dang, like my dad was on to something. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
I know what a chiropractor is. I know what somebody in public health do. I know what I can save my kids so much time and money just by listen. Start looking at the
no,
YouTube, figure out what you want to
yeah,
do. And then I also have a bigger vision as far as, and I don't really share this with a lot of people, but the well, I don't think I shared it with anybody besides Maya, but the idea of the podcast is, of course, what you see is me interviewing people, right? And understanding what they do for work. But think about what it means to, if we can get a kid or somebody that's young to, they see all these people and then they see how they talk, they know they can reach out to you. You know what I'm saying? Like if somebody in
yeah,
public health, you talk
yeah,
about a mentor, right? Somebody could reach out to you and be like, "Hey, I saw you was on this podcast. I'm actually looking for a mentor. Do you mind just helping me out? Like if I got questions." Building a network for our own people to be able to touch base
yeah,
versus you don't necessarily always gotta go to LinkedIn, or you don't necessarily gotta go to somebody that's the best in their profession. You got people around you that you didn't even know that you could tap in with. And so with the podcast, it gives people like yourself, you might see
yeah.
somebody on the podcast and be like, I want to collaborate with them. Well, guess what? I can make the connection, boom, and
Right.
now we doing bigger business. So it's like it's way bigger than just me just sitting here interviewing, talking to people. I really want people to, grow together, do business together, and just be a whole movement, man. And I think that's what happened with the library record shop is like it'll be a movement where you creating like somebody say, I listened to your podcast and I was inspired. How hard is that? Like I was inspired by your podcast. That
Exactly,
could be the next,
exactly,
the next Virgil or the next Oprah. You know what I'm
exactly,
saying? But I was
exactly.
inspired by your music, so I think it go beyond obviously the monetary value and what we trying to do, but it's way bigger than us and what
Yeah,
we trying to do.
you say exactly right, man. You building a network, and like they say, each one teach one, man. You doing your part to spread the awareness of what other people are doing. Giving other people that's creative the opportunity to like talk about themselves, and like you said, man, somebody gonna see this and it's gonna really impact them in the right way.
Yeah.
So you on it, my man. You on it.
Yeah, I'm trying to get like you, my guy. But nah, man,
Mhm.
I, I love it, man. I just what I want to go to next, right, is just I think we want to end it off. I think this is a good note to end it off. We talked about public health. We talked about the library record shop. I just think you got a lot of great things going for yourself, and I want to give you your flowers here today. Is just as far as like, man, we appreciate you, bro. I look up to you as far as just motivation, just to keep going, just to chop it up with is good people to be around, as far as the
Yeah,
energy and the vibe. So just know that, we proud of you, man. We love you over here. We rooting for you. We want nothing but the best for you. And, the way we ended as far as we just want some, a recommendation, right? We want
sure,
to
sure.
get a recommendation of somebody that you think is dope, great for the show, can add a ton of value, and somebody that you may look up to in your personal network of people. So give us a recommendation of somebody that I should probably get on the podcast or sit down with.
Yeah. I'm gonna give you my recommendation. I think this is gonna be a really good conversation for you. I want to hook you up with my boy Rento Campbell.
Gotcha.
He the owner of Jetlag TV,
Gotcha.
which is like it's almost like a music, entertainment, sports network run by somebody that look like me and you. He highlight people from South Carolina, especially in the upstate. He from Spartanburg, so he worked with a lot of different musicians and artists and athletes.
Yep.
And he really doing it big, man. He's got a website, he's got an app. He even has like a whole weekend event where he has an award show. Oh, wow. Where he highlighting local artists, and he has charity events. Like, he's really doing it big, and he a good musical mind too. So y'all gonna have a good conversation.
Yeah, man. If you can hook that up, what's crazy is I think I know who Rento is, and the only reason I'm gonna say that it's gonna be crazy if I can sit down with him. I don't know if he remember me, but I think I might have been going through. Is he from Spartanburg?
Yeah.
He from the 864. So I went to North Greenville, and North Greenville was right in that area, and so I can't remember. I think I was in college, and I was looking for an internship because my degree is mass communication. And so I had a friend who knew, I think she knew Rento, her name was Courtney or whatever, and we were trying to get in with Rento and try to do something on the side as far as just like having something under our belt to say, well, we work with this or we help this.
Right.
I don't know what happened. I don't know if I just dropped the ball or whatever, but I think I know exactly what you're talking about, and I would love to be able to sit down and just chop it up with him and just get the whole scope and the game of him. So we're going to do that. If you can plug me in, we can do that.
For sure. Appreciate you again for having me. This is my first time on the podcast, so it was a good time, man. But like we do, man, we get together, we chop it up, we talk. So it's just like that, man.
Yeah.
And appreciate you for all that you're doing. Like you talk about building this network and opportunity for younger people to kind of see what other people are doing, learn about different professions and stuff. So, I mean, you knocking it out the park too, my boy. Like, you really on top of it. Big Boss Talk, man. Season 3?
Yeah, we on season 3, man. What people don't know is the podcast came out in 2020. But 2020 was more or less me just on there talking. And then 2021, I was kind of doing I knew I could get better. You know what I'm saying? I think every time I look at this, I listen to like 2020 and I'm looking at what we're doing now. I'm like, man, it's extreme growth, and just I try to get better every conversation as far as whether it's with the questions that I ask or just just the minor details, right? We talk about the details in your logo and just your website. Like I try to do the same thing, but bro, it's been great talking to you.
They said the intro was so hard. We had to give them an outro.
You have a good brew, relax. Don't let the job get you, man. You and Kevin go do something fun today.
Let's keep rocking and rolling.
Nah, it ain't. No, it's sunshine out right now. It's crazy.
We here.
Cool. So y'all do something fun.
We back.
Appreciate you hopping on the show. We're gonna end
they
it like
say
that.
P9, you so cold.
Sir.
I want to thank you, all the bosses listen to Big Boss Talk. The people listening and watching, we love you over here. We're gonna leave the same way we came in. Coming with the coldest podcast you'll ever hear. The real ones will relate, the fake ones gonna forever hate.